Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasari Sadhara Bhaktivinoda Jai Sri Radha Krishna Gopal Gopina Shyamakunda Radha Sri Govardhan Jai Sadandavan Jai Smathura Jai Smayapanam Dev Jai Jaganpur Jai Gangamaya Mahaya Srimati Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Samaveda Bhakta Devi Nitai God. Our glory to the sum of the waters. Our glory to the sum of the waters. Glory to the sum of the waters. Our glory is our glory to the Goranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So our morning Bhagavatam class is taken from Canto 1, chapter 18, text 4. Title of this chapter is Maharaj Parikshit cursed by a Brahman bird. And it's all happening here in ISKCON of New Alipore. And today's date is, what's today's date? Today is 12th of February, 2025. Okay, so welcome everyone to this morning Bhagavatam class. Today is not a weekend, but you know, I see so many people here, so it's a big sacrifice. No tama sloka patam. Yeah, this is the time to make use of your digital network, your smartphones. Purify your smartphones by using doctorate and Krishna consciousness. Jusa tam tat katam ritam. Yatsam brahmano takalepi. Smaratam tat padam bujam. Natamas lokam bhatanam. Jusatam tat katam ritam. Yatsam brahmano takalepi. Smaratam tat padam bujam. No tamas loka bhatanam. Yustam takatam ritam. Yatsam brahmo takalepi. Smaratam tat padam bujam. Someone first.
Nottama shloka vartanam Jushatam tat katham Yatsam brahmon kalepi Smaratam tat padam bhujam
Ladies. More ladies. Thank you. So word for word translation and then translation on purport by Divine Grace, Eastern Planetary, see back to the dance on the Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada. Word for word translation. Now, never. Uttama Sloka, the personality of God, of whom the Vedic hymns sing. Vartanam, of those who live on them. Jusatam, those who engage in. That is Kata Amritam, transcendental topics about him. Shat, it so happens. Some Brahmaha, misconception. Anta, at the end. Ka, in time. Api, also. Smaratam, remembering. Ka is. Ada, Lord, faith. Because those who have dedicated lives, the transcendental topic of the personality of God, constantly engage in remembering the Lord of the Lord, do not run the risk of having decisions even at the last moment of their lives. Please carry responsibility. This was so because those who have dedicated their lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of God, of whom the very kings sing, and who are constantly remembering the lotus feet of the Lord. Do not run the risk of having this even at the last moment of their lives. Purport. The highest perfection of life is attained by remembering the transcendental nature of the Lord, the last moment of one life. This perfection life is made possible by one who learn the actual transcendental nature of the Lord from the very hymns sung by a liberated soul like Sukadev Goswami or someone in that line of the succession. There's no gain in hearing the very hymns from some mental speculator when the same is heard from an actual self-realized soul and is properly understood by service and submission. Everything becomes transcendentally clear. Thus, the submissive disciple is able to live transcendentally and continue on to the end of life. By scientific adaptation, one is able to remember the Lord even at the end of life, when the power of remembrance is slacking due to drain of body and brain. For a common man, it is very difficult to remember things as they are at the time of death. But by the grace of the Lord and his bona fide devotees, the spiritual masters, and one can get this opportunity practical. And it was done in the case of Maharaj Prechi. Krishna, Krishna, Pada, Saha, Gana, Hey Krishna, Karna Sindhu, Deen Bhanu Jagapati, Gopesha, Gopaka, Radha, Namaste, Tata, Kanchan, Gopake, Radhe, Vrindavati, Vrishabhanu, Sudevi, Hari, Aditanam, Bhavanyo, Bhajanyo, Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Nityananda, Sahodrito, Bhagavata, Bhagavata, Namo Namo Vishnu Padaya, Vishnu Pita, Bhutale, Bhagavatam, Swami Kirtana. Namaste, Sarasvati, Gauravan, Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Advaita, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram.
So let us therefore welcome His Holiness Bhakti Vasudev Swami Maharaj for ISKCON New Alipore by loudly chanting 3 times.
So I'm always proud of New Alipore because this place is the hub of scholars. in America, I tell people I see there's one small temple in Kolkata. There are big temples in Kolkata, but one small temple. That's the place I used to say. Why? Because the people there, they understand what I say. Yeah. So, and I tell them it's a small temple. They have like 5 PhDs here. Yeah. So then I go on to say, look, India is far ahead of the whole world. The typical the Bible says, so the chief wow. All that the big temples, they must have, yeah. This I stay in India is very sure. Because we have a lot of places being I've been invited to visit. So, so even in New Alipore, we stay for the maybe I'm living on the after the program in Newtown. Got some programs there. So the whole is coming together. So we got a message from Acharatna. Acharatna is my friend, so I can't say no. I have a weakness, you know. Like I can't say no to my friend. So this text is the continuation of the glorification of the devotee, or the person who is fixated on ultimate glory. The Lord who is glorified with transcendental hymns. The difference between the devotee and the conditioned soul is that the pure devotee is fixated on ultimate, on the glorification, on the Lord who is glorified with transcendental, highly learned poets. Kali is someone who is highly learned in very Yes, we have people like Kaviraj. Yeah, so ultimately, devotee should become karmi. Oh, yeah. Because Rupa said, to scrutinize the false invocation of the Bhakti Samhita Sindhu, Rupa said that we should study the scriptures scrutinizingly. Scrutinizingly is not, it's not your reading like a newspaper. You read, you study. So, this is something that we have to also is to study books. And that is why they have systematic study of proper books. So they're able to how many of you have done the back to South? I've done the back to South. Back to South Street. And I have that what's the decision you have to have back to South Street? But not only that, there are other things also that are required. Okay? The idea is to encourage people to study proper books because we tend to be too busy. We're not another Monday where people come together, clap their hands, praise the Lord, and they go home. It's finished. We're an ashram, proper established ashram. Ashram is the place where spiritual knowledge is cultivated. Cultivated means not just reading and understanding philosophy and repeating the philosophy like parathologists do, but cultivation implies applications. Applications so that we have some realization. Unfortunately, a lot of people read the books, read the books, and we don't understand. Yes, we don't understand. But we need to study the books scrutinizingly. If we don't have someone who has to culture us in that, we should look for somebody culture in scrutinizing, study the things we don't understand. We need to make some proper investigations and then all around. So here in this very text, Parikshit Maharaj is being eulogized, being praised for his fixation. He was not disturbed, although he got cursed by a Brahmin boy to die in 7 days by a snake bite. And remember, Parikshit Maharaj, his attempt on his life was made even when he was in the womb of his mother. Yet Krishna protected him. Who tried to kill him in the womb of his mother? So this is not new to him. He entered this world with those type of attempts, to exterminate him, to finish him off. They tried to finish him off before he was born. But at least now he's been ruling, so he happily accepts the curse and was ready to live. What does that mean to us? Parisi was cursed to die. That is really heavy, just a heavy offense. If someone offends you, it calls you stupid, you rage and rage. The Parishit Maharaj was cursed to die. He didn't get angry. He didn't get angry. He was fixated. He was thinking what to do at the time of death. That makes some inquiries. So this is the mode of the devotee. Or Krishna mentioned, Yam Yam Vapi Smaram Bhava, Atyachate, Anti Kaleva. So Parikshit adopted this principle of making inquiries, and he went to meet Sukadeva Goswami, who recited the Bhagavatam to his ear. Sukadeva Goswami told him that the purpose of someone about to die is to remember Krishna. You see, the Bhagavad Gita is like the, in science, we have something we call theories or models. And those theories and models are just frameworks for you to apply certain strategies in real life problems. So in the Gita, Lord Krishna is giving some theoretical model. Yam yam vapis maram bhavam jajante antikaleva. Whatever someone remembers at the time of death, that he will attain. Then in the Bhagavata, it's about applications. It's like in management science, we have principles like, we have the theoretical framework or the theories or the models, and then we have also the contemporary works on that very theory. In other words, for us, the commentaries of the church. And then beyond that, we have the application level. That is the third level of knowledge acquisition, application level, where you integrate the commentaries of the acharyas and the theoretical frameworks of the Sruti. If you do this, then you can have some amazing realizations. Otherwise, we end up becoming paratologists. Huh? Paratologist is someone who simply recites scripture, may not even understand the content of it, the meaning of it. For instance, a lot of people read the Upanishad, and that very Upanishad, Lord Vyasa says that we should cultivate science and nation side by side. Until today, a number of people living in Buddha, they don't understand that. What does that text mean to you? Cultivate science and nation side by side. What does that mean? It's there in this Upanishad. It's Upanishad. Yeah. Isn't it? What does it mean? Yes. Can someone explain to us?
Yes. That for this, they say that worldly knowledge and the knowledge of transcendental truth should be side by side cultivated, because the transcendental knowledge will help you grow your spiritually. But while you are in this material world, you need the material knowledge to supplement, because if you don't read, how can you study scripture? How can you do spiritual activities? So both are needed.
Yes. One of my boys in London, he told me how one ISKCON Swami is this friend's guru. He went to London, and then your friend's guru, come on. So you go to have darshan, and then the Swami told him, you just stop his study. He's studying physics. And because of the type of works I do, he became inspired that he said, man, I also, when I finish, I don't want to stop with first degree. I want to go ahead and get a PhD so I can preach like you. So but then this boy, when he met this his friend's guru told him that you stop his study and just move to Chambord to become a brahmachari. He was so pissed off. So he sent a message to me to ask, what should I do if someone tells me something like this? Because this is not going to be satisfactory to my conscience and my parents who have spent so much money for my education. They will see, if I do this, they will see ISKCON like an enemy to them because it cannot product. So, yeah, these things are there in the scripture where encouragement was given directly by Srila that we should study the scriptures. We should do bhakti. And no matter how busy we are, no matter how busy we may be with our material profession, we should integrate Bhakti in our lives, along with our professional development, along with your studies. Don't say I'm too busy with studies, I don't have time to chat. I met one doctor some years ago. He became my very good friend. He finished his MBBS in India. I went to America to do his specialization in MD. And so I went to Michigan State, Michigan, a beautiful city called Detroit, which is the capital. In Detroit, we have a very wonderful, great mansion. And this Indian boy who was doing his MD in America after finishing his MBBS here, he got attracted to me, so he was traveling with me, going with me to different places. So when we were going to one program, he turned to me and said, Nikai was Nikai with me. And he turned to me and said, Maharaj, can I ask a question? I said, come on, you're my friend. Ask a question, any question you want to ask. And he said, we medical doctors, we don't have the time to chance and sit down. I said, huh? Good for you. I asked him, do you think you're the first medical doctor in the International Society of Christian Consciousness? There are medical doctors in this movement who have been chanting around along with their work. And you were saying you don't have the time to chant. So then we went into dissection of this analysis of this 24 hours, how we use the 24 hours. I asked him, so how many hours you use in hospital every day? How many hours for sleep? How many hours for eating? How many hours for your private reading? Before we could finish the analysis, he almost busted out crying. He said, oh, Mara, I'm sorry, I didn't use my time properly. So this is what we experience. We tend to shift the blame to something else instead of blaming ourselves. And so, Mara's picture sets a very wonderful benchmark, wonderful example. We may encounter challenges in our devotion. How we deal with those challenges, how we respond to those challenges. Here is the case. Mara's prediction was, he responded to the challenge before him, but he was proactive. We have a challenge, we become reactive. So there are two things. To be proactive means something happens to us and we think, how can I use this to leverage my spiritual life? How can I use this very challenge in promoting my spiritual life? So that's exactly what Mara Parishit did. He utilized that challenge in hearing the message of God and became fixated in Krishna consciousness, nothing liberation. He didn't sit back to just win, cry, and complain. We have a problem. We have to deal with it. How we deal with it is the issue. We either we choose to be proactive or react. Typically, Mara Pariksit was proactive in dealing with this problem. The problems we will have, even in devotional service, we will have. Sometimes, a lot of things go on in this movement, and sometimes the victims, they will perhaps become disgusted with the whole system. But no, it's not the system. We individuals, we are all of us are not doctors. You go to the hospital, the patients over overwhelm the doctors in terms of population. In a big hospital, you may have just one doctor. So in a movement also, it's not that everybody is a paramahansa. And so when we get hurt by anybody's actions or statements, we should not think that, oh, this is Hare Krishna, it is just completely useless. No, it's not useless. This is an authentic movement established by an Acharya, established originally by Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya also founded this movement based on science. You know that? You know that Lord Chaitanya established the Hare Krishna movement based on science. Yes, who can explain that? And you hear Prabhupada sometimes will say, this Krishna consciousness is the science. Guru, who can tell us? How would you explain that this Krishna consciousness is science? Because Lord Chaitanya established this Sankirtan movement based on science, based on a scientific framework, a scientific model. And what's the name of that model? Huh? What? Model of happiness. No. No. I just, yeah, that is the movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But that establishment was based on science. It's based on scientific model. Huh? Yes. Like every living power of Krishna. That is the philosophical teaching.
Means by chanting.
Yes, brother.
Huh? The model is transformation, cultivation, and conduction.
That's too long. That is your description. Describing a model. It's just one model. Like we have quotas change model. We have ADCA change model. What model did Lord Chaitanya use in establishing ISKCON? That is called the teaching. I mean, the Sankirtan movement. He says, "Come together and chant." Sankirtan means come together and chant. Now, japa. You can do your japa in your home, lock up yourself in your room and do your japa. But Lord Chaitanya said, "Come together and chant." Why? And what model does this reflect? And you're scientists, most of you are not in management science, so you may not know. Listen. Now, Lord Chaitanya established this the Hare Krishna movement or the Sankirtan movement based on a model called synergy. Synergy is a principle or a model where it describes how the process where when people come together to do a particular thing, the result is always greater than individuals doing that same thing and bringing the results of those individuals. It emphasizes team spirit. Team spirit is the synergy is the pivot of team spirit, of teamwork. Why Prabhupada emphasized we should cooperate? It's based on synergy. That when we come together to do this service, the result will be greater. You got that now? So let's go back to the Tibetan Bible. So Maharaj Parikshit, he was such a staunch devotee of the Lord. And although he got cursed, he was not shaken. He was undaunted in his fixation. So whenever we have a problem, a challenge in devotional service, we should think about Maharaj Parikshit's problem and compare our problem to Maharaj Parikshit. Because we will have problems. Whether we like it or not, we will have problems. It's part of the purification, but sometimes we fail to understand the purification process. We may even blame Krishna. Oh yeah. Krishna, I've been worshiping you, chanting your name for 20 years, 30 years. Why you allow this to happen to me? So my prediction is coming from a line, lineage, or simply the word. Simply. And he was also very close. His mother was very close to him. And therefore, the important lesson for us is to understand how we deal with challenge. So in the purport here, I proper emphasize how perfection is made possible by one who has learned the actual transcendental nature of the Lord from the Vedic hymns. You see, the Vedic literature describes so much about the glories of the Lord. And in Bhagavatam, Lord Brahma mentions that there are a class of people who are not attracted to these glorifications. But in the words of the Bhagavatam, it says, Kaha Uttamas Loka Gunanu Adhat. Who is that person who will not be attracted to Uttamas Loka? And then the same text it answers it, except for a butcher. A butcher is someone who is killing his own soul, or a meat eater. Meat eaters, their intelligence is, they're so dull-witted. They're so unwitted. They can't understand the tongues and message of God. And I remember I saw this particularly when I joined the movement in the 80s. And so we used to go out of Sankirtan. And then I remember one city, the commercial city, industrial city, we used to go to that city to distribute books. And one day, I was distributing books, and a gentleman came out from his store, and he said, "You are the Christians, right?" I said, "Yes." He said, "I love your philosophy. In fact, I love to hear your philosophy. So I bought your books. I bought some of your books. I read those books. I don't understand anything." Yeah, he said, "You don't understand anything." Yeah. And I had also, one of my cousin's sons, he also made the same complaint to me. Yeah. He said, "Uncle, you see, I like hearing what you say. And the books you gave to my father, I read some of them. I don't understand anything." So sometimes, devotees think that everybody should just, become a devotee. No, but I mean, it's like you go and tell your younger sibling or your niece or your nephew at home, the small child of 5 years old, then say, okay, granted, you say you're doing statistics, you're doing a degree program in statistics, or you're doing a degree program in additional mathematics. And then you go home and you tell your nephew, your 5 years old nephew, your 5-year-old niece that, hey, do you understand what is dy dx is equals to gradient? They say, "Uncle, I don't understand what you're saying." So, because gradient is a higher principle, but it is the same functional connotation of 1 + 1 is equal to 2. It is the same principle. It's just that in a higher hierarchy of mathematics, the things are so complex. They don't want to make things simple for everybody. Okay, you have to have the brain before you venture into those fields. So it will be counterproductive if you go to just because you are doing statistics or you are doing additional mathematics, and then you go to pose before your niece, a child that you look, I know better than you. You're just a small child. You don't know anything. For instance, you don't know what is dy dx. So the point I'm trying to make is that everyone is not going to be a devotee in their life. Everyone does not have the merits. So I've seen people who read in Prabhupada's book, they don't. And so when you have people around you, or even family members, who are not taken to Krishna consciousness, what should we do? What should be our response? Should we be reactive or should we be proactive? That's a challenge. If you have people around you in the family, they don't, okay, you're chanting, they don't chant, or rather, they create all types of obstacles. If they're cooperative, that's the difference. But I've also seen cases where parents are not cooperative. Somebody wrote me through my website. It's a second year student in the university. He said he's been chanting, he's been reading Prabhupada books, he's been listening to Prabhupada's lectures on the web. He's been following vegetarian life. But there is too much of pressure on his parents, from his parents. The parents say, no, you cannot be vegetarian in this house. You must eat meat. This is what we're fed with. You cannot make yourself to be more ethical than your parents. In other words, where are you going? I'm simple. Why are you trying to be holy? This is from the parents. So they're reactive. They are faced with a problem. That problem is really not a problem. They're faced with a problem. Their child is doing something that they're not doing. But the child is doing a good thing, trying to be ethical, trying to be, religious, spiritual. And that idea is not even taken kindly by some people. And therefore, not many people are going to get attracted to Uttama Sloka. That's what Lord Brahman says. Yeah, not many people. Just like it takes a high-profile intellectual quotient to study. Okay, you're in a university, you're pursuing a degree program. You think everybody on this planet has opportunity to go to university to pursue a degree? No. Even America, no. I met one boy in Boston, a white boy. So he was taking me around, in a car to different places that I wanted to go to. And so I asked him that, who owns this car? He said, his mother. I said, why don't you go to school so that you can have your own money, buy your own car? Why you have to be depending on your parents? You know what he told me? This is in America. He finished from high school, graduated from high school, and he told me, Mara, he just busted out laughing. And he said, Mara, even the high school to go and graduate, he did it because if he didn't do it, they would put him in jail because the government in Massachusetts, in Boston area, Massachusetts state, is that if you don't go to school, you'll be put to jail. Your parents will be jailed. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So he said, he went, persisted, and graduated from high school because of fear of jail. And because of fear of putting his parents to jail. And then he told me, Margaret, I am done. That's what he said. He said, 18 years of study, I am done. So, in the same Boston, one of Mukuna Lila's mentees, he's doing his PhD there at MIT, Pat. His name is Pat. So, in the same Boston, an American white boy says, graduation from high school, that is the highest you can go. You will not do any of that thing. But the beauty is that he travels all over the world. Each time I call him, I say, hey, so, where are you now? Oh, I'm in Vrindavan. Yeah. His parents give him money to travel anywhere he wants to go. So the bottom line is that not everyone, just like not everyone has the fortune of going to a university. Not everyone has credits, spiritual credits, to practice Christian consciousness in this life. So what shall we do? We just discard those people who don't have sufficient credits? No, we should help them. How do we help them? Yeah, we give them Poseidon. Give them Poseidon. No argument. If they can't, they say, I don't want to read your books. They may like Poseidon. Give them Poseidon. And in that way, we can purify them. The devotee has to be very expert in devising, developing different strategies on how to help people. Because not everyone has that great fortune of voluntarily practicing. And for someone who is practicing Krishna consciousness, they have a love for hearing about the pastimes of the Lord, the pastimes of the Lord, glorified by kavis, poets, transcendental poets, like Sukadev Goswami. So here, Prabhupada mentions how we should align with the instructions of divine personalities like Sukadev Goswami, the spiritual masters. In that way, we can be enthused, motivated, inspired to practice Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, if we want to just be ourselves, I mean, it's like if you decide to chant by yourself in a lonely place, so many other things come into your consciousness. You decide to chant by yourself in your room, you very easily fall asleep. Because the environment impacts on our body. Environment impacts on our bodies. Again, this I like making reference to theories or models in science because sometimes you say some things and then people say, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in the philosophy. I don't believe in. I'm not religious. So the German psychologists developed this theory of the field, which says that the field impacts, environment impacts on our behavior. And it's a very common thing. It's just that it conducted some experiments and then came up with all of these research reports that basically explains how and why we have theaters, holy places. Because the holy places, the environment is so charged with spiritual energy. You go to Vrindavan or Mayapur, 24/7, it's all about Krishna, 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 Krishna. You go to the mall, it's something else. They chant mantras too, mantras in word, but not Krishna, Krishna. You go to the car park, they also chant mantras, but mantras in word, but they're different slogans. It's from the slogans we find in the Vedic Gaudiya Vaishnava literature. They are slogans that help us to achieve greater results in Krishna consciousness. And so, essentially here, man of consciousness was fixated, not bothered, undaunted. It says because he was dedicated, he dedicated his life to the transcendental topics of the personality of God. When we dedicate our lives to the transcendental topics of the personality of God, as we spoken, some things may happen, challenges may accrue, may occur, but we will not be this. We see the challenges of stepping stone for growth. Like the case of Mara's prediction, we saw the challenge as a means of becoming deeper, connecting deeper in Krishna consciousness. And he did. Was successful. Any comments or questions? So that pass. So Prophet mentioned the purpose by scientific adaptation, one is able to remember the Lord. Even at the end of life, when the power of remembrance is slackened due to the derangement of bodily membranes. Papa uses very fanciful words, not to sometimes. Yeah. And I mean, now, if Prabhupada was not scientifically inclined, would he be using this type of technology? Yeah. Yes, any comments or questions? Remembering the Lord at the final hour. That is, everything we are doing is preparation to remember the Lord at the final hour. I remember when I just joined, there was one professor who was taking me out in Sankirtan. No, I was coming from outside at the time. So one professor, the friend of the temple president, he used to take me out in Sankirtan, and he saw how I was so bold in preaching to people. He told me, "Oh, you can become a good full-time devotee." But then he said he cannot because he said he's very much attached to his mother. But then the Christian sent that guy to me to tell me a number of things. I still abide by those his instructions. So, yeah, we have to understand that people come into our lives for different reasons. We encounter bad people, encounter good people for different reasons. We should not be agitated. We should not be disturbed, despite the challenges we face. Because Krishna is real. Krishna is watching whether we will recline on him or we recline on our powers. Any comments or questions?
Yes. When challenges come, I believe we have to see that which lives on. Your tendency is that we find ourselves like we confused in which directions to take, and so and that is the time that the challenge becomes so overwhelming in our consciousness that we tend our focus, we get defocused from Krishna. So how do we go about actually maintaining that anchor on Krishna?
Yeah, this is a matter of practice. We know theoretically from here that there are people who are really, that's why I mentioned that we have a problem, we should compare a problem to Marish's problem. He didn't look. In another way, he was searching for ways to become free from anxiety. He did have anxiety. He did has an anxiety. That's why he was looking for some help to try to figure out, I'm about to die. What's the duty of someone who is about to die? So Maharaj Pariksit had a problem, and then he used his problem to liberate his spiritual life. So when we have a problem, one way that we can become focused on Krishna consciousness or in Krishna consciousness is to remember what other great souls have passed through. There is no single great soul who attained their perfection on a smooth express road because the roads were rough. Prabhupada almost died aboard the Jaladuta. He was damn old enough. That was beyond retirement age. In America, current retirement age is 66 point. Average current retirement age is 66.6. Prabhupada was how many years when he went to prison? So he was beyond retirement age. But that was the time he started his spiritual adventures in spreading Krishna consciousness to the whole world. So he almost died, he did not retire. He did not say, well, Krishna, hey, Krishna, you asked me to do this job, and you cannot give me good health? Remember, we should have queried. We would have queried Krishna, or would have queried his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta, who instructed him to go to preach in the West. But no, he did not. He see that as a means for leveraging his mission and vision. So yeah, when we have a problem, we should remember the problems faced by other great souls and how to deal with that problem. If the problem is just we are the first person to encounter a problem, that'll be different, but we can never be the first person to encounter any problem. Everything we experience in this world is just a repetition of what has happened in the past. So we are not the first. Therefore, remembering what others have encountered and how they overcome that problem, how they become fixated, that will give us a lot of impetus, motivation to become fixated on the Lord. I remember when I was having my liver problem, and I was having some treatment in New York, and that time it was so bad that I was looking forward towards death. And so one of my mentees, he used to come to see me. I'm not a devotee. I was staying in my friend's home. And then he came one time, and then he saw me working on some research paper. And then he said, Maharaj, you are going to die. Why is he wasting your time doing all this? He told me that. Yeah. I said, it's better to die actively serving the mission of the Lord. I remember. I was someone, my sister, first, very close. He said, yes, when we don't remember what others have passed through, we don't remember, for example, what Prophet has passed through. What Maharaj of Maharaj. See, we may just read these things as stories, but let's say here's a big lesson to learn from Maharaj. Being proactive when we face the challenge. Does it make sense? Any other comment? Sorry, yes. Long time to see. Welcome. Welcome back to Alipore. I had you away for 8 days for your work. Yes, so what's the question?
Maharaj, you told proactiveness means to use challenges to promote our spiritual life. But in material sense, we see the definition of proactive means to more focused on challenges and how to tackle it through our own endeavors, plans. So many times we think about challenges. First thing is we think how to tackle the challenge by our own strength.
Yeah, but our strength is not enough. This is the problem. How much strength do we have? If Krishna doesn't sanction, Krishna said he is the strength in us. That's what he said in Bhagavad Gita. I am the strength in us.
How this tendency, because this natural tendency inside us, which comes up whenever some challenge comes, we make plans how to tackle that.
Yeah, we make plans. Definitely we make plans. Bala Parishit made plans how to tackle his problem. What was his plan? He was trying to figure out, look, I'm about to die. What is the duty of someone about to die? He was trying to figure out. That is critical thinking. We must have to apply critical thinking when we are faced with challenges. In other words, generate a solution. Generate a strategy on how to deal with that problem. Then Maharaj Parikshit, when he was critically thinking about this and making some inquiries, he got a strategy from Sukadev Goswami. One has to remember what you must look at the time. So yes, the same thing. The same thing. What the materialist is talking about giving us a definition of proactivity. It's the same thing we're talking, except that we have the Krishna factor. We understand that by our efforts alone, we'll go nowhere. The materialist does not identify Krishna as the bedrock of our success. We understand what Krishna says in the Gita, that he is the strength in us, so we give glory to Lord Krishna. And that is a time to reinforce our reliance on Krishna while we make our efforts. The prophet said that when we have it, we should make our plans and hang our plans like a garland on Krishna. Let Krishna give the final verdict. In other words, we don't sit back and say, well, I'm a devotee, so Lord Krishna, you do. You take care of the situation, you know. Yeah, this sometimes becomes misleading. We want Krishna to do everything. What would we do? We just sit back and enjoy. But you see, even on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Krishna was the charioteer of Arjuna. He wasn't the archer. Arjuna was there. Arjuna was there. Arjuna said, take me there, take me there. He didn't do Arjuna's job for him. He was there to give the support. So Krishna is always ready to support us. He's there in our hearts and is willing to support us. But we have to work hard. And Krishna comes to the rest. Krishna comes to support us. Any other comments? In the absence of anyone, we like to join this meeting. Srimad Bhagavatam.
Yeah.
Yeah.